Most people have heard stories of the most famous Greek gods and heroes like Zeus, Poseidon, Heracles, Hades. But what about the tales and legends of mythological women? In Greek mythology, powerful sorceresses were often depicted as malevolent figures, but not every mythological witch had ill intentions. Witchcraft and sorcery, sometimes also referred to as pharmakeia, relates to magic, working with herbs, potions, and the ancient healing arts. Although the gods and goddesses of ancient Greece all had unique powers and magical abilities of their own, there are a few figures that stand out as the most famous sorceresses in Greek mythology. Welcome to the History Realm. Today we will go over witches, goddesses, and sorceresses. Ranging from clever queens to murderous witches, this is a look into 8 of the most interesting and powerful women of witchcraft, not commonly known in Greek mythology. Make sure you press the like button to support our channel. Alright, let's start with our first on the list, which is a goddess. Hecate is the goddess of witchcraft, which makes her one of the most famous divine figures of magic in Greek mythology. She is considered the patroness of sorcery, necromancy, and mystical arts, directly connecting her to all of the other sorceresses on this video. As a chthonic god, she is also closely associated with passage to the underworld, spirits, and ghosts. Ancient practitioners invoked her for guidance during rituals, protection of the home, and wisdom in life, especially during difficult transitions and decisions. As Hecate is the goddess of crossroads and boundaries, images of her were often placed at city gates, doorways of homes, and at points where roads converged, in order to protect against dark forces and evil spirits. Being blessed with farsightedness and the gift of being able to see in several directions at once, people lost or confused at which road to take would call upon Hecate to put them on the right track. It was not unusual to see poles at road junctions with 3 masks hanging from them, in honor of Hecate, and to ensure her help in choosing the right road. These 3-faced masks were sometimes seen hanging on the doors of houses to keep out all evil spirits. Hecate is often depicted as triple-bodied, representing phases of the moon and the cycle of womanhood, maiden, mother, and crone. As such, she has become one of the most revered deities in both ancient pagan and neo-pagan religious traditions. Next we have Circe. Circe is perhaps the most renowned witch in Greek mythology, weaving in and out of multiple ancient and modern stories. She is a captivating and enigmatic figure, daughter of the sun god Helios, and famous for her mastery of magic. After turning a romantic rival into the sea monster, Scylla, Circe is banished to the mythical isolated island of Aeaea. Her most famous depiction is in Homer's The Odyssey, where she encounters Odysseus and his crew after they arrive on Aeaea. Using one of her potions, she transforms his entire crew into swine. Lucky for Odysseus, he had ran into Hermes, messenger of the gods, who, on hearing the plight of the men, tells him not to panic and gives Odysseus a magical plant called moly, which, the messenger informs him, will render him immune to Circe's spells. Circe, impressed by the bravery of this Greek hero, does exactly as Odysseus asked her to, and furthermore, having found a man who stood up to her, a real man in her eyes, falls madly in love with him, no potions or magic spells needed. She may come across as a villain at first because of her alluring and captivating personality, but she is more than simply a cunning sorcerer. In the end, Circe assists Odysseus and his men by kindly housing them during their year-long stay, and providing direction for the remainder of their expedition after they were eventually allowed to go. But before departing, he had to visit Hades, the Underworld, something that no ordinary mortal had ever done. Next is Medea. The Greek sorceress Medea is renowned for her cunning nature and mastery of magic and the gift of second sight. Aside from her role as a skilled sorceress, she is also famously a tragic heroine in Argonautica, an epic poem written by Apollonius Rhodius, and Medea, a Greek tragedy written by Euripides. She is the daughter of King Aeetes, niece to Circe, and a princess of Colchis, an ancient kingdom renowned for its gold and home to the famed Golden Fleece. Medea's story revolves around her passionate love affair with Jason, the hero who embarks on a quest for the Golden Fleece. It were as though Eros had shot his arrow at her, since Medea fell madly in love with Jason at first sight. She offered to help him, with one stipulation: were he to succeed with his endeavor, he would take her with him and marry her. Jason, knowing he needed all the help he could get, accepted Medea's offer. so she betrays her father and uses her magic to aid Jason and the Argonauts. When the Golden Fleece was in Jason's possession, he sailed away to claim his rightful kingdom of Iolcus, taking Medea with him as he had promised. To distract her father and give them a head start, Medea killed her brother Absyrtus and dropped in on her aunt Circe, so she could be atoned, with Circe's magical powers, of the murder of her own brother. Interesting story. Let me know in the comments below if you would like to see a full dedicated video on Medea. Up next is Pasiphae. Pasiphae is the sister of Circe, queen of the kingdom of Crete, and wife to King Minos. She is also famously known as the mother of the Minotaur, a monstrous creature that is half man, half bull. This unnatural offspring is the result of a curse from Poseidon, which encouraged Pasiphae's fascination and unnatural desires for his majestic white bull. At first, she tries to care for the young creature. She even pressed the like button on this video to help the channel. But soon the creature grows to become too violent and uncontrollable. King Minos then enlists the help of his inventor Daedalus to create the labyrinth as a way to safely house the Minotaur. Her connection to magic is less prominent in mythology than her sister Circe and niece Medea. However, the female line in her family were all gifted with magic, and Pasiphae was considered especially gifted with herbs and potions. One legend suggests that she used these skills to cast a spell on King Minos, so that whenever he was unfaithful, his mistresses would die. Seems like something Hera would do. Speaking of Hera, up next we have Lamia. Lamia was a woman who became a child-eating monster after her children were destroyed by Hera, who learned of her husband Zeus's affairs with her. In Greek mythology, Lamia was once a very attractive woman before she allowed herself to get involved with Zeus, the king of all Greek gods. After Zeus's resentful wife Hera destroyed all of her children, or, some would have it, drove Lamia to kill her own children, Lamia suffered from extreme agony that left her scarred and turned into a horrible creature who hunted and killed other people's children. Hera cast a magic spell on Lamia, just to tease her even more, causing her to be stricken with permanent insomnia. She began to relive her children's deaths, resulting in countless nights of agony. Feeling sorry for Lamia and more than just a little guilty, Zeus bestowed upon her removable eyes, enabling to take out her eyes at night, allowing her some relief. Zeus also bestowed on Lamia the ability to shape-shift and become an alluring half-serpent, half-sultry seductress, who enticed young men into satisfying their sexual needs with her. Once they were satisfied, she devoured the young men. What a terrible fate. Now we have Kakia. Kakia, or Katia, the Greek, goddess of vice and moral badness, was portrayed as a vain, plump, and heavily made-up woman dressed in revealing clothes. Her aim in life was to try to entice as many people as she possibly could to become wicked and evil. Kakia's most famous effort was that of trying to seduce the great Greek warrior Heracles. Heracles, when confronted by two Greek goddesses, Kakia, power of vice, beautiful and alluring, and Apate, power of virtue, a naturally beautiful and humble woman, he was offered a difficult choice. Kakia tempted Heracles with an easy, laid-back life, full of lust and pleasure, happiness without hardships, in other words. Apate offered him a hard life with many losses and much sufferings, warning him that nothing that is really good and admirable is granted to men without hard work. Heracles drew upon all his strength and willpower and chose Arete's offer. The word Kakia, meaning malignity, malice, ill will, a desire to injure, evil, trouble, wickedness, and depravity, is mentioned numerous times in the New Testament, and today in Greek, the word has the same meaning. Next, we have another Odysseus encounter with Calypso. Calypso, in Greek mythology, the daughter of Atlas, who had the weight of the world on his shoulders, was a nymph of the fictional island of Ogygia. According to Homer, author of the epic poem, the Odyssey, Calypso, with her captivating singing, held Odysseus, hero of this epic poem, hostage on her island for 7 years. Calypso, whose name says all we need to know about her, as in Greek it means to cover, to hide, deceive, and conceal knowledge, was determined to seduce Odysseus from the minute she set eyes on him and fell madly in love when he landed on Ogygia. Come what may, Calypso was going to snare this handsome mortal Greek hero for her husband. Even though Odysseus had fallen under the spell of the enchantress Calypso, he never really settled on her island. He missed his wife, Penelope, who was patiently waiting for him, weaving at her loom, at home on the island of Ithaca. Eventually he could stand no more, but rather than bear the wrath of Calypso, He confided to the goddess Athena about the unbearable longing for his wife. Athena, in her role of guardian and protector of Odysseus, turned to the ruler of all Greek gods, Zeus, for help. Zeus, in turn, ordered the messenger Hermes to explain to Calypso what's what and that enough is enough. It's time to release the poor man and let him make his way home. At first, Calypso kicked up a bit of a fuss, cursing the gods for them not wanting goddesses to have affairs with mortals. After much deliberation and debate, Athena and Zeus persuaded Calypso to do the right thing, and with a heavy heart, she provided Odysseus with wine, bread, and cheese to sustain him on his journey, supplied him with a raft, and said her sad farewell. Last but not least, we have Apate. In Greek mythology, Apate was the goddess of deceit and the daughter of Nyx, the personification of night and also one of the first primordial gods to exist at the beginning of time. The word Apate in Greek means fraud or deceit. Erebos, personification of darkness, was her father, also one of the first gods to ever exist. Apate, along with her sisters, who were also personifications of various other, not-so-good attributes and mannerisms, had all been locked up in Pandora's box. They were released into the world when curious Pandora, the first human woman, opened the box. One myth involving Apate concerns Hera, the wife of Zeus, who upon learning of her husband's affair with the Theban princess, Semele, sought out Apate in order to pick her brains for a suitable punishment for the two-timing princess. Apate gave Hera a magical girdle which forced Semele into asking to see Zeus in his true form. Semele died after seeing Zeus in his true form, as the gods were never allowed to appear before mortals in their true form. If they did reveal themselves, no mortal could ever survive after looking at them. Well, although every divine figure and deity held incredible powers and abilities, these women are the most renowned for their witchcraft and magical prowess, showcasing both the beneficial and the malevolent side of sorcery in Greek mythology. And there you have it. 8 great stories of women in witchcraft not very known from Greek mythology. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give us a comment below to let us know which story you liked best. Also, don't let the stories stop here. Check out this video linked above to keep the stories going. Until next time on the History Realm.